Hey guys, welcome to Red Dwarf Reviews. Apologies for my face. I'm a little bit puffy. I'm been feeling a little bit under the weather today, and I took a nap, and my eyes were like this when I woke back up. But I thought that was maybe appropriate. I'm back here with Zeppelin, and we are about to review. Um, we're about to review some episodes. What I've done is I've actually taken all the recommendations you gave me, and I'm gonna go through all of them. The thing is, it actually works better if I start with one episode and then get progressively drunker as I go along. Because if I just do one, then I don't really have the time to get properly drunk. So that's why. So yeah, I started off with Body Swap, which is one of my favorites. It was suggested by Kelly of Smeg, and I mean, I happen to agree with her. I also really like it. Um, Now, immediately, my first thought was, the writing and the pacing is just so perfect in this series, which is series three. The characters aren't well. Rimmer and Lister are set from day one, but Crichton is kind of finding his character, but the writing is so smooth. And one of my complaints, as you know, about series, I'm bad with numbers. The latest series, sirs, is that there's a reason we call these drunk red dwarf reviews, but honestly, I'm not sure it would have helped if I were sober. Anyway, one of my complaints about all the later series really is that it's kind of been a little bit poorly paced and not really smooth in terms of writing, if that makes sense. Because, like, here's Body Swap. It's a simple idea, but they kind of, in a very short period of time, they kind of cram in all this information. They make you believe it. And at no point do I think, oh, this is a little bit weird. I mean, it is weird because it's funny, but it's always intentionally funny. We all know this episode. I think it's amazing to see Chris and Craig's respective strengths. Like, Chris is so good at impressions, and what always kills me, and this is of course more of an RPF kind of thing, but my God, he has Craig's mannerisms down. Or Lister's rather, because there is a difference. People say, "Oh, Craig Charles can't act." Of course he can, and that's always kind of bothered me. Like, oh yeah, he's so much better in the new series because he's acting. But no, he's always acted. The fact that the character he's playing is so much like himself is not really the man's fault, now is it? Yeah. So I know that's fun because Chris, as I say, is a great impressionist, and I'm sure those of you who have the DVDs have had a chance to check out his impressions of Craig as in actually doing the voice. And I wish they could have done that. It would have made more sense, because why would their voices change? They're in different bodies. And speaking of the science, I have so many questions. Like, Holly was messing with them, but still, like, why would there be a separate self-destruct system when you've got an AI on the ship? Um, you know, why why is everything, well, the magnetic tape thing is, I have a headcanon for that, but still. And I have so many questions, but putting that aside, I will say that I think it's such an interesting episode, and it's so well written, exploring the differences between the characters in that way. Craig's strength, of course, is that he is really, really good at miming the dialogue. He gets it spot on, and may come from being a musician and a singer and a poet. He knows exactly what his mouth is doing, if you know what I mean. It's hard for me to watch this episode and kind of not see it in an RPF perspective. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's real person shipping. So I dabble in that a little bit. I've written some stories about Craig Charles and Chris Berry, so check that out. It's on my AO3 if you're that inclined. And if you want, I'll put some links up. But this is a really harrowing time in their lives, at least in the fictional version of those lives that myself and Roadster Gal kind of thought up, and I keep thinking about it. But I mean, I'm sure you all know that things weren't always all that sunny behind the scenes, and they didn't always get along so well. And Chris and Craig, and it kind of comes off in this episode, but in such a good way. Really, really love it. And I also thought it was interesting to see how Chris looks as Lister, like how you kind of he's much more attractive in a way because he is playing Lister's character, so he is Lister, and the clothes really suit him. Whereas when you have Craig playing Rimmer, it makes him less attractive, which makes it interesting why we find Rimmer attractive. I think it's really all in Chris. It's the talent. But it certainly does highlight the good and bad sides of the characters, which, it just making some great episode. And we're on 6 minutes. So, excuse me. I think we're gonna call it there, and I'm gonna do the next episode. I'm not quite sure which one it's gonna be, but I will certainly be doing Marooned. Might do that actually. So yeah, next one's gonna be Marooned. So stay tuned for that one.